In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to enable Snackbar message notification. For instance, when you try to delete and an error occurs, you have this notification that displays right here and it stays for a few seconds and then it disappears. You can actually configure how long it stays. Now let's try for the success message. I introduced this error so that we have the failure. So let's try the success. I'm going to remove this so that it will be able to delete successfully. So I'm going to just save all. And let's now do the successful message delete. So I'm going to delete and I'm going to click on delete. And now you can see that it says product deleted successfully. And it shows there for 6 seconds, but you can actually close it if you want. So let me show you how to do it in this application, because in this case, we don't have those notifications. So if you try to delete, it actually deletes. Okay, so let's go ahead to get started. I would also like to remind you to subscribe to my channel. If you are joining me for the first time, please remember to subscribe. Hit on that subscribe button below to subscribe so that you don't miss any updates from me. So let's go ahead to get started. Okay, so let's get started. We are going to modify the React application. So the first thing we want to do is to declare some states that is going to be used for the message notification. So there are 3 states we need. One of them is the open, the message, and the severity. So I'm going to be writing and also going to explain to you as I write. So the first thing we need is the state to handle whether the bar is open or closed. So I'm going to say const is going to be snackbar open, and the setter for it, set snackbar open. And it's going to be use state, and the initial value is going to be false. It will be closed. So there is the first state. The second one will be the message. I'm going to call it snackbar message. This is the message that displays in the snackbar or in the alert box. And it will be use state. We are going to use the use state hook, and the initial value is going to be empty string. And the final one is the state that controls the color. In that case, we are calling it snackbar severity, not just the color, but it also controls the type of message that is displayed, whether it is error or success message. We call it snackbar severity, and of course we have the setter for it, set snackbar severity. And the initial value is going to be success. So the 2 states will be either success or warning. Okay, so now we have the 3 states declared. The next thing we want to do now is to update the delete method. We are going to update the delete method to actually show the dialog box when you click on the delete method and you try to delete. So in case of the delete, we have 2 branches. We have the success when it succeeds, and we have the error right here. So in case of the success, I'm going to display the snackbar. I'm going to open it here with a success message. So I'm going to say snackbar message. Actually, I'm going to set snackbar message, and it's going to say product was deleted successfully. And we are going to set the snackbar severity. In that case, that is a color, or in that case, it's a success message. So we are going to set the snackbar severity to be success. We are going to do something similar for the error branch, and in this case I'm going to copy this across. So I'm going to copy this, and I think I will remove the alerts here and leave only the console because the alert is no longer necessary. So I'm going to just paste it right here. So in case of this, we have the severity is going to be warning, and the message is going to be an error occurred trying to delete a product. And at this point, I'm going to display the snackbar by setting the snackbar open to be true. We also need a function to close the snackbar because someone might choose to click on the close button on the snackbar. So let's write a function that says handle snackbar close. So what this function is going to simply do is to set the snack bar open to false. Okay, we also want to open the snack bar when this function tries to execute the delete method. So I'm going to the delete operation. So I'm going to set the snack bar open here to true. So this means that once you click on the delete, on the confirm delete, is going to open the snack bar, but what message displays and the severity of the snack bar will now depend on whether the operation succeeds or fails. The last thing we want to now do is to create the actual snack bar dialog box with an alert message or with an alert component. So I'm going to place that dialog somewhere in the last part of the page, somewhere around here. So there's a component called the snack bar. So the snack bar is the component that actually handles the messages, but the actual message that displays is handled by the alert component. So we are going to set a number of props. So the first one is going to be open, is going to be snack bar open. So the snack bar open controls whether the snack bar is open or closed. We also want to set the auto hide duration. So this is the duration. The snack bar will remain open until the user clicks on close, or if nothing happens, it will simply close. So we set it to 5,000, which is 5 milliseconds, which is 5 seconds or 5,000 milliseconds. We now say on close. We also handle when the snack bar closes. When the user clicks on the close button on the snack bar, we are going to handle snack bar close. And one more prop we want to set. We want to set the snack bar to be displayed at the upper right corner of the screen. So we are going to set the anchor origin prop to be vertical top and right and horizontal right. So this ensures that the snack bar is displayed at the upper right corner of the screen. So the next thing we want to do inside the snack bar, we now have to place the alert component. So the alert component is what actually holds the message. So I'm going to add it. And then inside it, we have to now enter the message, which is the snack bar message. So we have the snack bar message state. So we are going to display it inside the alert. Now the alert also requires certain props. The first one is on close. It will be also handle snack bar close. So it's going to be on close. And it's going to be handle snack bar close. The next prop is the severity. And it's going to be the snack bar severity state we already created earlier on. And now at this point, I think we are almost done. So I'm going to save everything and let's test it. And then we are going to do a bit of enhancement after now. So I'm going to go ahead to introduce an error so that we don't delete everything we have on our database. So I'm going up and I'm going to just introduce an error here. So I'm going to save everything and let's see what we have. So everything works well for now. And I'm going to go to the screen. So nothing shows. So I'm going to try to troubleshoot. Okay, so I actually changed the wrong URL. So we're actually going to change the one that deletes, that handles delete. So I think it should be this one. So I'm going to just say 80801 and I'm going to save everything. Let's go back to the UI and we have everything displayed as expected. Let's try to click on the delete and let's delete. So we have the message displayed here, an error occurred trying to delete a product. So what I'm going to do now is to try to add a prop that increases the size of the snack bar. Let's wait for it to delete to exit. So for some reason it did, oh, okay, so it automatically closed. Okay, so if you want it to close in a shorter time, you can reduce the auto hide duration prop to maybe 2 or 3 seconds as you require. So now let me show you how to kind of adjust the size of the snack bar, increasing maybe the height of the snack bar. So let's scroll down and add the SX prop to adjust the size of the snack bar. So I'm going to add a prop SX. So here we can now specify the props that controls the display. So in this case, what I'm interested in is the height of the snack bar. So I'm going to call the mean height, and I'm going to set it to, let's say, 400 px. I don't really know how this will appear, but let's set it to 400 px. Permit me to just also make sure that this displays gives us an error message. So let's try to see. I'm going to click on the delete again, and you see 400 is just too much. But at least you understand how it works now. So let's go and do the success message. I'm going to set it back to 80. So let's try to do the success one. So I'm going to correct the URL for delete, and I think it's going to be port 8080. So let's correct it so that it deletes correctly. So I'm going to save everything, and let's try the success message. So I'm going to cancel, refresh, and this time let's try to delete. Hopefully it deletes. And now it says product was deleted successfully. So this is how to implement the message notification, which is called the snack bar in Material UI. I would like to stop here. Please remember to subscribe to my channel by clicking on the subscribe button below, and also like this video and leave me a comment if you have any challenge whatsoever following my tutorials. We'll see you in the next part.